Call the council meeting to order tonight. Tonight will be led in the invocation by Council Member Vernon Brown. After the invocation, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, so please rise.
Please bow your heads. Dear God, we recognize we are in the winds of change. We thank you for the moisture and the melting snow and for the change in season. We thank you for the dedicated city employees who changed our streets from snowbanks to clear paths. Be with us tonight as we focus on making decisions for our changing city. Grant us wisdom, patience, and tolerance. Let us always remember we're not separate voices, but one voice, always looking for change to make a better, stronger city. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved, Knutson.
Knutson moves. Second?
Second, Jameson.
Jameson second. Further comments? Any additions? No further comments? All in favor, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Costello.
Yes.
Jameson.
Yes.
Kavanaugh. Knutson.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Benninga.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
All members present have voted. The consent agenda has been approved, 8-0. Is there any motions or additions or motion to approve the regular agenda?
Move for approval, Benninga.
Benninga moves. Is there a second?
Second, Litz.
Litz seconded. Further comments on the motion to approve the regular agenda? Seeing none, all in favor, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Costello.
Yes.
Jameson.
Yes.
Kavanaugh.
Yes.
Knutson.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Benninga.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
All members present voted. The regular agenda has been approved, 8-0. This is a time that we set aside 5 minutes for anyone that wishes to address with council on a topic of interest to them. And if you do so, we just ask for your name and your address. So anybody wishes to address the council at this time, please come forward. I see no one coming forward, so we will move into the regular agenda. Item number 2.
Item number 2 is a second reading and ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, approving the release of permanent sanitary sewer easement.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I need to excuse myself from this discussion.
It will be noted that Councilmember Brown is excused from item number 2.
Good evening, Chad Hebe with the Office of Public Works Engineering Division. Because of construction phasing, I am requesting that the second reading of this ordinance is deferred until the May 14th meeting.
Move to defer to May 14th.
Oh, it's moved by Jameson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Kavanaugh to defer until May 14th. Third discussion. Not all in favor of the deferral to May 14th, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Costello.
Yes.
Jameson.
Yes.
Kavanaugh.
Yes.
Knutson.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Benninga.
Yes.
Brown.
All members present have voted 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 2 has been deferred until May 14th. Item 3.
Item 3 is a first reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, providing supplemental appropriations.
Gene Roanhorse, Director of Finance for the City of Sioux Falls. This is the amendments to the capital improvement plan and the OSEP plan that was discussed at the informational meeting, the last one in February. This just enacts the necessary ordinance to fund approximately $1.3 million worth of amendments to the CIP plan. You had a package on that during that, or at the end of the meeting in February.
Questions of Gene on item number 3, Kermit?
Yeah, Gene, can you refresh my memory on the $280,000 for the Parks and Recreation?
I think we have Mr. Kearney here.
Oh.
He can talk to it.
Thanks.
Don Kearney with Parks and Recreation. This $280,000 is a federal appropriation that we received for the construction of bike trails. And essentially what this does is that after we were able to put our preliminary design together on the Dunham Park to 12th Street bike trail, because of inflationary costs with regard to steel, asphalt, that's up 22%. We need $280,000 to finish that project. There were 3 projects that were originally identified in that total scope of work for those federal funds for bike trails, and it basically transfers the funding that we had originally set aside in the I-29 to Sertoma Park Trail and moves it to the Dunham Park to 12th Street Trail.
Other questions on item number 3? Let's go to item 4.
Item 4 is a first reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, approving the First Amendment to amended and restated commitment agreement by and between Lewis and Clark Rural Water System Incorporated and the City of Sioux Falls.
Good evening, Kevin Smith with the Office of Public Works. This amendment is in essentially the same form as was presented to the council some time ago at an informational meeting. It has been brought in front of the full board of the Lewis and Clark Rural Water System, and they unanimously approved that at their regular board meeting in February. It does outline some of our prepayment requirements as well as the prepayment schedule with Lewis and Clark. It memorializes the fact that we have accepted a 1.007 million gallons in unallocated capacity and assigns the costs for that.
Questions of Kevin on item number 4? Seeing no questions? Bob?
Kevin has one.
Kevin, okay, excuse me.
Thank you. Kevin, I don't recall specifically what numbers we were discussing when we passed the bond issuance, or we authorized the bonds, which have not been sold yet. There's a number in here of about $64.3 million.
Correct.
Is that the same thing? Are those same numbers we utilized?
Those are higher. I believe the original number we looked at, Kevin, was 61.8 million.
Okay.
But what we do have listed in this amendment is the surety that there will be no interim true-up on the cost of the water treatment plant should it exceed the estimate. So there is an interim true-up for the transmission line, but as we've discussed before, Lewis and Clark is well under their estimates right now, so I don't think that's going to be a problem for us. But this does reflect the fact that the costs of the anticipated costs of the treatment plant did change.
So, if I could continue, when it comes time to make the payments, are we going to be within that bond authorization amount, do you feel?
Yes.
Okay.
As we discussed, there is no intention of coming back and altering the ordinance to exceed the $70 million limit, which would include the bonds themselves and the issuance costs.
Thank you.
Kevin, you indicated there would be a interim true-up of the transmission line costs. When will that occur?
After it's completed. So it could be 2012 or whenever, I guess, at such time when the last contract is let. But Lewis and Clark, I think, is, well, $26 or $28 million below their estimates right now. So if the system were trued up today, the city would probably be eligible for a rebate check.
I guess I thought we were truing up at the end, but you said interim, so I thought maybe there was something sooner than that. But
just on the transmission line, but everything else after that will be tallied at the end of the project. And that's something that is clearly stated in the proposed amendment.
Yeah, Kevin, you mentioned truing up with the transmission line. Do you mean the transmission line from the Missouri to Sioux Falls, or the entire system itself?
Just the transmission line from Sioux Falls to the treatment plant site. Essentially the Missouri River.
Further questions on item number 4? Not. Let's go to 5.
Item 5 is a first reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, approving a total cost capital lease.
Jason Kahn, Public Works Department, Sanitary Landfill Superintendent. We met with the Fiscal Committee last Monday to discuss this issue and presented financials. And really what we're looking at doing is a 5-year lease purchase on a two-wheeled scrapers. And starting this year, and it'll include the repair and maintenance. Based on lease versus purchase, we feel that this is the option that the city should pursue at this time. We also worked with our fleet management division. We have Jeff Weber back here also. And we worked with the finance department and the attorney's office on this to determine this method of.
Questions of Jason on item number 5?
Yeah, Jason, just to clarify, the city has budgeted $220,000 for the first year of the lease.
That's for both items.
for both? And then, may I assume that then over the 5-year period, we'll continue to budget $220,000?
Yeah, it would be a flat fee per year of approximately $220,000 per year for both items. And then at the end of the lease, there would be a buyout that the city would repurchase, and then we have the option to either keep those pieces of equipment or sell them at that period of time.
At the end of the 5 years, how much would we be paying if we decide to just outright purchase them?
Our approximate numbers are right in around $600,000, and we feel the items would be worth more money than that at that period of time.
Thank you.
Further, Bob?
How many people are there that can bid on this type of a proposal?
Based on the type of scraper necessary out at the landfill, we feel there might be only one potential bidder in Sioux Falls. There aren't a lot of manufacturers of scrapers, and due to the horsepower required, we feel that maybe there will be only one potential bidder, but until we bid it out, we're not 100% certain of that.
Further questions on item number 5? Drew?
Jason, could you remind us what the useful life of the scrapers is under normal wear and tear?
We try to keep about 10,000 hours on our equipment because of the repair and maintenance that goes into the items after that period of time. So this lease would actually go up to about 8,800 hours, and we would probably sell the pieces of equipment after the repurchase at the end of the lease in order to avoid the 10,000 hour mark.
Thank you.
Further questions? Kevin?
Jason, the bid specifications, would you consider them unusual? I mean, I guess I'm concerned about the lack of bidders who may not be able to bid on this.
They're not unusual in the sense of what we're requesting for horsepower and the potential for the equipment to do. One of the special factors out at the landfill is the clay that we have out there requires a lot of horsepower for these pieces of equipment to dig into to actually excavate the soil. So all we're requiring is that they provide a piece of equipment large enough to be able to perform that job. And the reason I say there might only be one potential bidder is because there aren't a lot of scraper manufacturers, first of all, but second of all, really it comes down to probably two in the town, Caterpillar and Terex. And the Terex potentially, they make two, one much smaller than we need and the other much larger.
Further questions on item 5?
I guess, is this a lease purchase with maintenance, or is this?
It includes all repair and maintenance through the 5-year period.
Further questions on 5? Let's go to 6 then.
Item 6 is a first reading and ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota to repeal ordinance number 9606, authorizing the issuance of landfill revenue bonds and other actions related thereto.
Good evening, Mark Connor with the Office of Public Works. Tonight we'd like to talk about items 6, 7, and 8 because they are all related. Item 6 is an item that we came to you last year, which pledged landfill revenue bonds we made a loan request of $1 million that would fund the 9-acre compost pad, public drop-off area, surface water improvements, and appliance recycling building. Those projects have been substantially completed. This next year, which we anticipated in our tipping fee analysis that we would go for additional dollars from this same fund. And again, this is that fund that we as the City of Sioux Falls pay into every year into the solid waste program. And then we are also, through a competitive piece, we can also be a recipient of these same dollars. This next year we went in for an additional $1.3 million to fund the alternative cap, expanding the landfill leachate and gas system, and starting to close the active sides of the landfill. And what essentially came back is that the DNR says they've got a fund that they manage, and it's split into two. It's half is recycling, the other half is just standard solid waste programs. And this last year they got several requests for just the solid waste side. they got very few requests for the recycling side of their program. So they called the city and said, would you guys consider us taking your projects and loan from last year and your request from this year and tying them all together? We use the same terms, and what that allows them to do is blending all the projects together. They can justify, say, that there is substantially recycling dollars spent on these, which also then allows them, all the other landfills in the state that requested funds, they could tap from the solid waste side. So again, what we're doing tonight, this was a request from the state. It's the terms that we request, or they're both the same terms, 7 years at 2.5%. So essentially what we're going to do tonight is we're going to ask you to vote to approve to repeal the $1 million ordinance that pledged landfill revenue bonds. And then item 7 is a clean water loan. And there is about $500,000 worth of our projects that they could not justify, our recycling-based projects. So they're going to fund them through the SRF program. But there is $1.8 million that they can justify that are recycling-based, and that is item number 8. We do have tonight, if you'd like to know more about the projects that were in discussion, Jason Kahn, landfill manager, is here, and also Doug Hayek. He is the bond counsel on these loans.
Questions on item number 6? Kevin?
So, Mark, we're looking at 2.3 total?
2.3 million in loan.
And a portion of that is refinance, if you will?
Yes.
Restructuring? All right. How
$1
much
million
of
that is.
Okay, so
that's right.
The new borrowing is about 1.3. Since this was requested of us by the state, are we incurring any additional charges to restructure this financing mechanism?
Not that I'm aware of.
All right, thanks.
Other questions on item number 6? 7. Let's go to 7 then.
Item 7 is a first reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, authorizing the issuance of landfill revenue bonds to the South Dakota Conservancy District, authorizing the use of the proceeds thereof for capital improvements, pledging a portion of the landfill revenue of the city to the payment of said revenue bonds, authorizing the execution and delivery of a loan agreement between the city and the South Dakota Conservancy District, and authorizing the execution and delivery of such landfill revenue bonds to the South Dakota Conservancy District.
Mr. Mayor, Doug Hayek, and members of the council, Doug Hayek from the Davenport Law Firm. I'm just going to finish or take off here where Mark left off. As Mark said, part of this is being financed with a SRF loan through the South Dakota Conservancy District. That's the $500,000 portion that is eligible. And just today, we finally received the project description for that part of it that will qualify. We received that from the state. So you received a copy of these ordinances for the first reading, and prior to the second reading next week on both of these ordinances, that is the one for the Conservancy District loan, the SRF loan, and then which is $500,000, and the solid waste loan, which is $1.8 million. There were some slight non-substantive changes in the ordinances, simply to make reference to the Conservancy District loan, the SRF loan, as Series 2007A, and the solid waste loans as Series 2007B, just so that we could keep them straight. So those are changes that are going to be made before the second reading of the ordinance next week. And then the other change on this particular one, the SRF loan, has a different project description because the state wanted to make sure that the project described clearly showed that it was eligible for the SRF financing. And because there are certain parts of the project that are not eligible for SRF financing, and those are being financed under the solid waste program. So I just wanted you to be aware that those changes will be coming before you next week, and they're basically non-substantive changes.
Thank you. Questions of Doug on item number 7? Okay, let's move to item 8.
Item 8 is a first reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, authorizing the issuance of landfill revenue bonds to the South Dakota Board of Water and Natural Resources, authorizing the use of the proceeds thereof for capital improvements, pledging a portion of the landfill revenue of the city to the payment of said landfill revenue bonds, fixing the terms of such landfill revenue bonds, authorizing the execution and delivery of a loan agreement between the city and the South Dakota Board of Water and Natural Resources, and authorizing the execution and delivery of such landfill revenue bonds to the South Dakota Board of Water and Natural Resources.
Questions on item number 8 that anybody has? We had that explained to us. See no questions. So is there a motion to set the hearing date for March 19th for items 3 through 8?
So moved.
Let's move. Knutson seconded. All in favor of the motion to set the hearing date for March 19th for items 3 through 8 will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Councilmembers Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
That motion has been approved 8-0. The hearing date has been set. Item 9.
Item 9 is a hearing declaring the necessity to construct sidewalk on North Cliff Avenue, East Chamber Street, and East 34th Street North, and assessing the cost to each lot or tract of land benefiting thereby.
Good evening, Chad Heavey, Office of Public Works, Engineering Division. The sidewalk will be installed in conjunction with the reconstruction of Cliff Avenue from Chambers Street to Benson Road. Of the 46 properties included in the project area, 27 will be assessed for the sidewalk installation per our assessment policy.
Questions of Chad on item number 9?
Yeah, Chad, 27 property owners will be paying for these sidewalks. How much total will they be paying?
The estimate right now is $20 per front foot for sidewalk and $3 per front foot for engineering.
And that comes up to a grand total of?
I don't have that at this moment. I could
Okay.
sit down and...
Okay. I mean, you think it's 100,000? I mean, I'm not very good at math.
You know, I'll have to get back to you on that. I don't have
Yeah.
the exact footage, and I don't even want to take a stab at it.
But I think we're going to be voting on this right now, aren't we?
Yep.
So we're not sure what we're voting on, actually, the cost.
Shannon Austin is here. Let me ask
okay,
her
good.
if she has a feel for that.
Shannon Austin, Office of Public Works, Engineering Division. The exact amount that will be assessed will be after the project is completed. We have about, the whole project length is about a mile, and again, it's about 27 parcels out of the entire 46. The majority of the sidewalk costs are actually bared by the City of Sioux Falls, from approximately 31st Street North down to Chambers. A lot of that frontage is actually city cost, so the majority of the sidewalk costs are actually by the city. So total square footage per property, we certainly don't have that because we haven't calculated the actual assessment per property yet.
Yeah, and no guesstimation.
We average, what we've been telling the property owners is anywhere between 5,000 to 7,000 per parcel.
Yeah. Okay.
Further,
Can I just ask one more question? Shannon, you mentioned, of course, that the bulk of this would be paid for the city.
Correct.
Now, I guess I'm wondering, since this is a reconstruction, why isn't the city paying all of it?
Because there was never any original sidewalk installed along this entire corridor. And the first costs of sidewalk expenses by our ordinances, the city, the property owners, the adjacent property owners are responsible for the sidewalk. If there was sidewalk already out there, Councilman Staggers, we would pay for the cost to reconstruct it. But because there's no sidewalk out there, we assess the property owners.
And then also it talks about of the land benefiting thereby. Does any property owner really believe they're going to benefit by having this sidewalk?
I believe they do, yes. In fact, if you walk up and down the street and see the paths that are adjacent to the street, you definitely see that people are walking.
Okay.
further questions on item 9? Others that wish to address the council on item number 9? Seeing no one come forward, is there council discussion or action on item number 9?
Move for approval.
Kavanaugh moves. Is there a second?
Second, Jamison.
Jamison seconded. Further comments on the motion to approve? Kermit?
Well, on this one, I can't vote for this at all because I think the city should be using the second penny to build these sidewalks instead of having the adjacent property owners. These sidewalks do not belong to the adjacent property owners. They're going to belong to the city. The city should pay for these.
Further comments? Seeing no further comments, all in favor of approving item 9 will vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
No.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
All members present voted 7 yes, 1 no. Item 9 has been approved. Item 10.
Item 10 is a resolution declaring the necessity to grade, gravel, construct curb and gutter with driveway approaches, construct sidewalk, storm sewer, asphalt surfacing, streetlights, sanitary sewer, and water main on West 69th Street, and assessing the cost to each lot or tract of land benefiting thereby.
This project is the reconstruction of 69th Street from Louise Avenue to the east. There are 18 properties included in the project area. Only properties with access to 69th Street will be assessed for the project costs for our assessment policy. It is estimated, the estimated engineering cost per front foot for the project is $180.
Questions for Chad on number 10?
Chad, since we're going to be voting on this in just a few minutes, do you have any numbers on the cost to these 18 properties that are going to have to pay for these city sidewalks?
At this point, I do not. There is several, we have sent letters to all of the property owners notifying of the hearing tonight. I have not been involved with any of the discussions with the owners. I could certainly get those numbers for you.
Shannon's going to.
Just a quick update. We did mail out letters to all the adjacent property owners that if they did have assessments, they were mailed out the approximate cost per their lot. Those that don't have access, as Chad TV said, they don't have any assessments, but those with direct access do have assessments, and they have been notified what that approximate cost is.
So we sent these letters out. What's the total amount in those letters for this assessment for all these properties?
Again, with each property, it varies. We don't run the resolution of necessity until after the project is complete, until the numbers are finalized. This is just an estimate right now.
Right. I mean, that's something that a lot of times we deal with are estimates.
Sure.
And
Yep.
we don't even have an estimate.
Well, it depends, of course, on the front footage of each parcel.
Right. I'm just asking for the total 18 properties, the estimate.
I believe out of the $2 million project, we are assessing less than $200,000.
So maybe 200,000.
But again,
yes.
this is just an estimate. We don't have a
Okay.
lot of properties that have access.
Okay. So, but we are talking about a lot of money.
The parcels C, D, E, and F, which is about 900 feet, those folks would be assessed. So 900 feet times 180. I don't have my calculator with me, but it would be around there.
Further questions on item number 10? Others that wish to address the council on item number 10? Please give your name and address, if you would, please.
Dean Poppinga here. I'm a landowner. Landowner would be I. While I have received a letter saying I will not be assessed because it's not a direct access, I would like your consideration in the fact that a sidewalk not be put on the east side, or excuse me, the north side, just on the south side. This is a backyard. You can go back there 1 minute, please. H, I, J, all the way through O are all just backyards of home sites there. And if you drive on 69th Street, on some of the finished street, there's quite a good number of places where there are not sidewalks on both sides of the street. And it would, to my mind, not be unquestionable just to have it on the south side.
Thank you. Questions? Others that wish to address the council on item number 10? Not, is there council discussion or action on item number 10?
Move for approval, Jamison.
Jamison moved. Is there a second?
Second, Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh seconded. Further comments?
Mr. Mayor, since we don't know really a guesstimation here on how much this is going to cost these property owners, I move that we defer this until the March 19th meeting of the City Council.
March 19th, your motion?
Yes.
Is there a second to that motion? That motion dies for a lack of a second, so we're back to the main motion that's been made and seconded to approve item 10. Further discussion?
Well, like I said before, we really don't know the amount of money involved here. And so because of that, I don't think we should even be voting on this, so I'll definitely vote no.
Okay. Further comments?
Well, we do know what, we were told an estimate was $180 a foot. This is a resolution of necessity. The work has not been done. When we pass an ordinance after it is done, actually assessing the property, we'll know what the total cost is. This is nothing unusual.
Further comments? Gerald?
Yes, Kevin's actually said some of the things I was going to say, but I'd also like to indicate that this is a policy decision, and I haven't seen any changes in policy in the last 5 years, so I believe we're not voting on the cost, we're voting on an assessment policy.
Further comments?
Well, we are voting on assessing these people. So once we vote on this, they're going to be assessed. And then later on, we'll find out the big bill they're going to get.
Got a motion before us that's been made and seconded to approve item 10. Further discussion? I see no further discussion. All in favor of the motion to approve item 10 will vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmembers Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
No.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 10 has been approved. 7 yes, 1 no. Item 11.
Item 11 is a resolution vacating North Wayland Avenue adjacent to tracks 2 and 3 Rajnes addition.
This portion of Wayland Avenue is east of Cliff Avenue, just north of Barney's Auto Salvage. The right-of-way is unimproved and does not contain any city utilities. The petition was signed by all the adjacent property owners. If the right-of-way is vacated, a utility easement will be maintained for public or private utilities. The petitioner has complied with our current street vacation policy. They did ask that the public meeting requirement be waived. In this situation, in the conditions surrounding the street vacation, I waived that requirement. Furthermore, I have revised our internal street vacation policy to allow that public meeting to be held or not held based on the factors surrounding that. The benefit to the city for this vacation is that the property will be back on the tax roll, and engineering recommends approval, and the petitioner is present tonight to answer any questions.
Questions of Chad on item number 11.
Chad, I'd be curious to know what revisions to that policy were made and under what circumstances a neighborhood meeting would be waived. The last time I voted to vacate a street without having a neighborhood meeting, we all got in trouble for it about 6 months later. And I thought that our revised policy was put in place to make sure that that didn't happen again.
In this situation, with the steep grades, if you went south on Wayland, you're basically going down a tremendous distance down to the salvage yard. Wayland Avenue is actually, the part we're vacating has been gated off for the last 15 years and maintained by the property owner, or the adjacent property owners. He owns both parcels of ground to the west and the east. And after discussion, it was decided that the public meeting was not required.
If I might, I understand he's the only property owner that is affected by this. Is that correct?
Correct. He owns the parcel.
What about people within, I believe our policy requires that we invite people within several hundred feet of this property, regardless of whether they own property fronting this vacated street.
I could certainly ask the petitioner if part of our waiver was that if the council requested documentation that he had visited with the adjacent property owners, that he would provide that.
And I appreciate that. I just, again, I'm leery because of prior experience. if there are extenuating circumstances that would void the necessity of a neighborhood meeting, that's fine, but I haven't heard of them yet.
Well, we can certainly revisit that policy.
Further questions, Chad, on item 11? Others that wish to address the council on item number 11? Is there council discussion or action on item number 11?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I believe Chad indicated that the petitioner is here. I guess I would like to ask him a question or two, if it's possible.
Petitioner, please.
You want me to state my name and address?
Please.
My name is Evan Bell. I live at 2811 North Wayland Avenue, which is just adjacent to those tracks there. And I've owned the property for the last 15 years, and the people that have owned it before that the place has been gated off and shut off probably for over 40 years with a dead end sign on the gate. And I own both tracks of Track 3 and Track 2 of the Rogness Edition. I've spoken to some of the neighbors around there, and I basically, for the last 15 years of owning the property, mowed the lawn, kept up the whole place, and it's been shut off to, basic traffic coming down the street. It is a dead-end street before that gate. So, what questions do you have of me?
Well, I was just curious if all of the property owners around there that may be impacted by this, were you able to talk with them?
I've talked to Mr. Mitchell, who lives across the street from me. I believe you know him, and he owns the property east of me, but also north of this, and that doesn't bother him at all. And he's the only one I've talked to, basically. There's nobody else pretty much around there. If you go south, you'll drop off the cliff, which is about 200 feet down into the salvage yard.
Further questions? Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Thank you. Council discussion or action on item number 11?
Move for approval, Benninga.
Benninga moves. Is there a second?
Second, Jameson.
Jameson, second. Further comments, any discussion on item 11? Seeing no discussion, all in favor of approving item 11, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benninga?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 11 is approved, 8-0. Item 12.
Item 12 is a resolution vacating North Blauvett Avenue adjacent to Track 3 Highland Heights Edition and Track 3 Rogness Edition.
This portion of Blauvelt Avenue is just east of the prior vacation, east of Cliff Avenue, north of Barney's Auto Salvage. The right-of-way is unimproved and does not contain city utilities. The petition was signed by all adjacent property owners. If the right-of-way is vacated, a utility easement will be maintained for public or private utilities. The neighborhood meeting requirement was waived. The petitioner is here tonight to answer any questions, and engineering recommends approval.
Questions to Chad on item number 12? Others that wish to address the council on item number 12?
Good evening, Mike Cooper, Planning and Building Services. I just wanted to quickly comment on both items 12 and item 13 in support of the right-of-way vacation. Both of these are unimproved right-of-way that the property owner has petitioned to be vacated. And if you remember last year, we had some issues up in this area with a development that was previously known as the Skyview Mobile Home Park. We had a number of problems with the previous property owner with code violations, and essentially that development was shut down. The current property owner came in with a new development plan, which was approved by the City Council for a 48-unit manufactured housing community. And the new name is now going to be Highland Heights Manufactured Housing Park. There's been a substantial improvement made to this property with utilities and site improvements. And we're really pleased with the turnaround that we've seen up in this area. And I know that we have the owner here tonight if he wants to say anything, but I just wanted to make sure that the council knew that there's going to be quite a transformation up in this area, and I expect that they'll start bringing in some units this year. So we're pleased about the change that has been done and will be done on this property.
Thank you, Mike. Questions of Mike?
Mike,
Bob? Bob's got a question, Mike.
this property, the streets that are being vacated, become part of this parcel that this development is going to take place
Yes,
on?
and again, remember, these are not streets, these are unimproved right-of-ways, but they will become part of the development area.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? Others who wish to address the council on item number 12? Council discussion or action on item number 12?
I move for approval.
Knutson moved. Is there a second?
Brown seconds.
Brown seconds. Further comments? Seeing no further comments, all in favor of approving item number 12, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmembers Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 12 has been approved 8-0. Item 13.
Item 13 is a resolution vacating North Highland Avenue adjacent to Track 3 Highland Heights addition.
This portion of Highland Avenue is east of Cliff Avenue and north of Barney's Auto Salvage. The right-of-way is unimproved and does not contain city utilities. The petition was signed by all the adjacent property owners. If the right-of-way is vacated, a utility easement will be maintained for public or private utilities. The public meeting requirement was waived. A representative of the petitioner is present to answer any questions tonight, and engineering recommends approval.
Questions of Chad on item number 13? Others that wish to address the council on item number 13? Council discussion or action? Is there a motion?
Move for approval, Jamison.
Jamison moved. Is there a second?
I second that.
Knutson seconds. Further comments? I see no further comments. All in favor of approving item 13 will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Councilmembers Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 13 has been approved 8-0. Item 14.
Item 14 is a resolution vacating West 4th Street from North Main Avenue east to the Phillips to the Falls addition.
This portion of 4th Street is between Main Avenue and Phillips Avenue. The right-of-way is unimproved and does contain city utilities. The petition was signed by all the adjacent property owners. If the right-of-way is vacated, a utility easement will be maintained for public or private utilities. This right-of-way will be a part of the Uptown at the Falls development and will be a private drive. A public meeting was held last week that was attended by 19 people. Engineering recommends approval.
Questions of Chad on item number 14?
Chad, of the 19 people who attended the public meeting, could you give us a summary of how they felt on this topic?
The consensus is that there was no objections from the group. I think there was 2 county commissioners, I believe. Councilman Staggers was in attendance. The developers presented a slide presentation of what was going to happen with the development. But there was no objections.
Thank you.
Further questions, Chad, on item 14? Bob?
I'd just
Let's-
like to comment that, right now what you have is a gravel parking lot that trucks used to back in and never did go all the way through. There never was a street there. This development group is willing to take it over, and I see about $250,000 worth of planters and things that they're going to do to this place to make it a very nice plaza, and I think the city would benefit greatly from this.
Thank you. Any further questions? Others who wish to address the council on item number 14? Not, is there council discussion or action on item 14?
Move for approval, Benega.
Benega moves. Is there a second?
Second, Costello.
Costello seconds. Further comments? I see no further comments. All in favor of approving item 14, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmembers Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 14 has been approved 8-0. Item 15.
Item 15 is a resolution amending the 2007-2011 capital program.
Gene Roanhorse, Director of Finance. This item 15 is related to item 1. It is the amendment to the capital improvement plan itself. I'm sorry, item 3, not item 1. So it would be appropriate to defer this until the March 19th meeting when the second reading will be held for item number 3.
Okay,
Move to defer to March 19th.
pardon? Did you make the motion? Kevin made the motion.
Second.
Kavanaugh, who seconded?
Second.
Second, Staggers, okay. Motion been made and seconded to defer item 15 until March 19. All in favor of that motion to defer will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Council members Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
All members present voted, the deferral has been approved 8-0 for March 19th. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Kavanaugh, seconded by Jameson. Was it Jameson seconded? All in favor? Vote yes. Opposed, vote no.
Council members Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh? Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
No.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega? Brown?
Yes.
Motion to adjourn, 7 yes, 1 no. So stand adjourned.